Jason, are you cool with me admitting people, or should we wait for Duff to get in here first?
I think we should wait for Bob, yeah.
Okay.
Trent. Trenton.
So anything you say on there can be heard.
I know, that's what I was about to tell
Yeah,
you.
no, I know.
That's what I was about to tell
Okay.
you. Okay.
Just good to go.
Well, I think wait till Bob is, we're sure that he's settled.
Hi. Hey, Jason, you like how it looks like I have horns sticking out of my?
Yeah, you like handlebar? Those are like handlebar. Well, yeah, I just realized I don't have my car. I have my daughter's car, and my blazers are in my car at the garage. So I'm stuck here with a sweater, jacket, whatever this is. So,
I think it's fine.
anyway,
I'm gonna admit everybody. Senator Duff, you good?
Hang on one second. Just throw this out.
now let me get a seat. There you go.
There you go.
All right, Jason, you running this?
Now you are.
All right. Rescue me if I need it. All right, go ahead.
I definitely will. I definitely will.
All right, I'm admitting everybody.
I think we're recording. Oh my gosh.
We are. We're live streaming and recording.
Everybody,
Senator.
Hi.
I'll say hello as well. Hello, everybody.
all right.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Jason.
Hello,
Hey,
Senator.
Senator. See, Representative Covers DeGraw there. How are you?
Fighting a cold. How are you?
Okay, do we have critical mass here, you think?
Looks that way.
All right, everyone. Well, good afternoon and thank you for joining us. Tuesday, February 20th, 2024, for the Majority Leaders Affordable Housing Roundtable. We have a hopefully not too long of a meeting, but one that will be important nonetheless. And we're want to just, before we get going, the Majority Leader and I would just like to thank you for all the hard work so far. We view this step really as a interim step in a way, because we want to continue the work we've been doing on the housing roundtable. We think this is the long-term issue we need to keep talking about. So even though we're talking about reports today and recommendations, we want to make sure that everybody knows we're going to continue on this issue at least in the short term and medium term. So what we have, we'd like to talk to, and if anybody has any questions, obviously just raise your virtual hand or interrupt me. But we want to talk about the recommendations that have been provided to us by the subcommittees. We have multiple pages of recommendations. Some things are already in proposed legislation now. Some things may be this session. Other things may wait until future. And for the sake of time and everything else, because these have already been shared with members of the roundtable, we don't need to go through all of them. But we just wanted to, Representative Rojas and I wanted to make sure that if folks have any questions or comments or any dissent on any of the recommendations, to provide that to us by the end of business on Friday. And if you have any questions or comments about any of the recommendations, to contact the subcommittee chairs directly, because I'm not on all the subcommittees, and neither is the Majority Leader. But so we may not be able to answer those questions as directly or with as much information as subcommittee chairs would. So what we'd like to have everybody just look over again, we have pages and pages of these recommendations, which I think are good. All the things that we've talked about from our meetings since the summertime. And if people have questions or comments, talk to your subcommittee chairs, talk to the subcommittee chairs, and we can get that information to you if you don't know who that particular person is. And then if you have any written comments, to let us know by the end of business on Friday, and then we'll be looking to see what we already have in as proposals and what we may put in as proposals for this session. Any questions about that at all? Or Jason, anything you want to add into that?
Yeah, no, I would only add, I think part of the intent of us convening all of you, right, and engaging in the meetings that we did was really to get additional perspectives outside of the legislative process, and ideas and concepts that we knew some could be acted on sooner than later. There are clearly others that require, I think, a lot more investigatory type work and evaluation before we launch into a bill and have a debate, particularly when there's, I don't know, I'm not counting every day, but there's something like 79 days left in the legislative session. And there are, I think, some of the concepts, some of the recommendations that were offered by the subcommittees have made their way into legislation, right? I think either there were people listening, or maybe some members of the roundtable availed themselves of the opportunity by virtue of being a chair to raise a bill within their committee. We haven't put forth anything to any of the committees, and Bob and I. So, some of them, these things will be considered, I think, this session, but certainly a number of them require a lot more evaluation. And I think about the conversions of commercial property, right? We heard, right, we heard testimony or feedback from an individual on that topic that this really requires a lot more evaluation, where I think in the minds of many people, it's like, just convert office buildings and we're done. We know that it's just not as simple as that. So that recommendation is to continue to evaluate that in the hopes that we come back to next January, God willing, those of us who choose to run for office every year are back in January, where we can advance these ideas in a proposed bill. So I kind of wanted to share that with everybody so everyone understands where we're coming from in terms of these are recommendations, but they're also just informed ideas that I think are helping Bob and I be able to better evaluate what kind of policies we should be thinking about as we move forward with what is a long-term effort to improve our housing policies. or enhance them. Thanks, Senator.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments, Brian?
Thank you, Mr. Majority Leader. Yeah, just a quick question. Do you see this group getting back together again after the input, by the close of business this Friday to kind of see what changes may have occurred or some of the feedback that you have received?
Yeah, absolutely. I view all this, and I think we're going to try and work on a report as well, based on our feedback and everything else and some of the recommendations. But again, and I consider the roundtable something that is continuing on and living on. And this is just a kind of an interim kind of step because we know providing more housing is a multi-year process, not just something that can be solved in 6 months.
All right, great. Thank you.
Brian? Thank you. Anybody else? Any other questions at all or comments? Okay, well, this might be the quickest meeting that we've had so far. So everybody knows the next steps of what we're talking about. And again, going once, going twice, because I know everybody's busy. Any other comments or questions from anybody?
Well, I had a question myself. I raised this in a conversation I was having offline about air rights. I certainly understand what air rights are, but it might help to have additional kind of context about that particular recommendation, and I forget what number exactly it is. But you know who you are, who made a recommendation about air rights. I think it would be helpful to have some additional context about that recommendation, and I might reach out to other folks.
It is not.
Dig deep.
Can you-
I don't think I was answering my question right. But yeah, it's items like that. And certainly there might be some in barriers. We had a lot of great conversations in barriers. Some of the recommendations we move forward with are kind of general, right? They're not terribly specific. I think that spoke to, there's millions of ideas about how to meaningfully reward municipalities. Maybe we'll see some of that this session. Maybe we won't. But some of them were vaguer, which gave us, I think, some additional things to think about as we continue on in this work. So some of them might be a bit more general than specific. So I think everyone should walk away knowing that, yes, it's general, doesn't seem overly specific. It's because we're likely to come back to that one because it requires a lot more time and evaluation than the time that we did have together or to be considered during a short session.
Excellent. Thank you. Anybody else? All right. All right, everybody. So you got your marching orders. Wednesday, talk to your subcommittee chairs if you have questions, or these subcommittee chairs if you have questions. Any comments in the business on Friday? We do plan to reconvene at some point, date unknown at this point, with kind of status and where we are with things. And we'll let everybody know, give everybody plenty of time to clear their calendars. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.